Before I get into the video, I just wanted to say, haha! No, you thought I was going to give a warning about something. Yeah, I got you there. I mixed up the order of the script slightly because season 4 is my favorite. It gets special treatment because, nepotism. Anyway, the thing I was going to say was vote. Both for the presidential election and the style of my trailer. Yeah, I have a vote in the description for this. So I have a link in the description to vote for the style of trailer you want to see for year 2, because I'm going to make a year 2 trailer. But I need you guys to vote on the style. And the options for those are cinematic trailer, sitcom style trailer, sci-fi style trailer, fantasy trailer, and a comedy movie style trailer. Vote now because I'll be closing the votes on November 30th, 2020. Cast your vote now. Link is down below. Alright, now I'm going to say it. Spoiler warning for all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and even the rest of the Marvel Extended Universe. So if you haven't checked it all out, I highly recommend you do. Then watch parts 1 through 3 of this series, linked in the card. Then come back to this. Alright, now that we got everything out of the way, let's get into the video. Alright, let's get started. The first thing that I noticed was in Season 4, Episode 4, entitled Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire. Coulson is talking to Robbie Reyes, and a thing he said stood out to me. He said that he needed to make a deal with the devil. I know Robbie said that all the time, but when Coulson said it, I believe it was foreshadowing the plot of Season 5. Remember at the end of Season 4, Coulson made a deal with Ghost Rider, and in Season 5, it is revealed that Ghost Rider is taking the GH25 formula out of Coulson, becoming the ultimate cause of his death. This is the deal with the devil that Coulson actually made. In the same episode, again, Season 4, Episode 4, they reference The Darkhold, a book with so much dark magic and advanced science it makes the reader go insane. And it is that magic part that I would like to talk about. They go on to call it the Book of Sins and Book of Spells. The name Book of Spells just seems to be a throwaway line that means nothing to plot of the show. If that's what you thought, well, you'd be correct. That particular name has nothing to do with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But remember, the Marvel Cinematic / TV universe is huge. The Darkhold is bound to show up somewhere else. And that it did. In Season 3 of Marvel's Runaways. The season all about an evil witch and a main character learning from that evil witch how to use magic. And what do witches do? That's right, cast spells. This episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out in 2016, about 3 years before Runaway Season 3 came out. And they still tie in pretty well to each other. They're also both very good shows, and I would highly recommend them. In fact, I recommend all of the extended MCU TV shows, except Inhumans. That never force yourself through it. Trust me, it is not worth it at all. I've tried. Anyway, back to the MCU shows that we don't pretend don't exist. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 5, and pretty much until Episode 15, the new director, Jeffrey Mace, mentions how he saved someone in Vienna. I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but it probably is. I believe that this was from the bombing in Vienna caused by Helmut Zemo during the signing of the Sokovia Accords in Captain America: Civil War. Honestly, that is probably what they said happened. If that's true, well, then I guess I didn't hear that part. Either way, I thought it was a cool nod to Civil War. All right, remember this? No? It's Zero Matter from Agent Carter. Do you remember this? Hopefully you do. It's in pretty much every MCU TV show. Roxxon, the gas company that is the true glue of the MCU. Why am I mentioning these to you, you ask? Because Fitz mentioned them in Season 4, Episode 6, The Good Samaritan. There was a brief moment when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. mentioned the other Marvel show that starts with Agent. There was also a mention of the Roxxon gas station that blew up in Agent Carter Season 2. I find this interesting not just because it is a reference to Agent Carter, but also because it sets up the idea of an extended Marvel TV universe. Like the Avengers, but smaller. Agent Carter crosses over with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we do know that because of Sousa in Season 7. And Cloak and Dagger crosses over with Runaways. Also, I'm pretty sure all the Netflix Marvel shows cross over, though I've never seen them, so I don't know for sure. The next thing I have is not about the plot at all. It is a small detail probably almost no one picked up on. The speed of certain events as perceived by Coulson, Fitz, and Robbie in Season 4, Episode 7, I noticed that a few things, like when Eli drops the carbon were a few frames faster than they were for the rest of the team's perspective. Another, and probably the only other example is when the team discovers that Coulson, Robbie, and Fitz aren't there. Can't remember what she said, but one of May's sentences seemed slightly faster than the first time we heard it. Another interesting from the same episode is when Ghost Rider talks to Robbie through Mac. He says that Mac has already lost hope. We are meant to think he meant hope, as in like hopes and dreams, but no, it's actually confirmed through a throwaway line from Daisy in the framework that Hope, his daughter, was the hope he lost. I find it interesting how the Ghost Rider arc set up the LMD arc, which set up the framework arc, which set up the last 2 episodes of season 4, which were a mesh of all 3. The Ghost Rider arc also told us about Hope without us ever knowing. Pretty sneaky on the writer's part, but, still cool nonetheless. Director Jeffrey Mace is not an Inhuman. We know that. But why am I bringing it up? Because he still has type powers, and his powers had arrived from a sort of attempt at recreating the super soldier serum. What you may not remember, however, is where they got those ingredients from. They were from Cal Johnson. Anyway, point is they mentioned a little bit of season 2, which is nice. The next one is from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Slingshot, the YouTube miniseries that focuses on Yo-Yo for a little bit. And in the first episode of that miniseries, Coulson appears with a box. In that box is a little pin with a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on it that he gives to Yo-Yo. Also in the box is a picture of Stan Lee, the Marvel legend himself. Kind of weird for Coulson to have a picture of him, though, especially with what happened on the train in season 1. And no, I'm not going to talk about that. Though. Instead, I'm going to talk about a deadly laser. That's right, I'm talking about the 084 from season 1, episode 2. It appears in episode 5 of Slingshot. It is used to kill the person who killed Yo-Yo's cousin. I still don't know how they found it. It was pretty cool to see it back, though. The next 2 things I have are both inconsistencies with the framework. The first is about how it works. I noticed something pretty interesting. They say that if you die in the framework, you die in real life. But if that's true, how is Simmons still alive? She came into the framework, and in that reality, she was dead. Why doesn't this carry over to the real world? While Mace's death does. I don't know, maybe it's just me looking into things too much again, but seriously, think about that. Why is Simmons still alive? And the other thing is also about Simmons' framework death. It is also about Ada's plan for the framework. So, here it is. If Ada wanted all of the main characters, or main agents in the framework, then why is Simmons dead? Also, what is Simmons' regret? What did Ada take away from her? See, Ada's actions with the framework just don't add up. I mean, I know why she killed Simmons specifically, because she was the only thing standing between her and Fitz, but it still doesn't add up. If she wanted everyone in the framework, with one regret taken away from them, what is Simmons's? Not dying to protect the S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy? Robots' evil plans never make sense to me. Anyway, this next thing is about the lighting within the framework, specifically in the Triskelion. I noticed a slight green tint to everything, especially black clothing and black hair. Daisy's hair, for example, had a slight green glow to it when she was working in Hydra. This, of course, is to symbolize Hydra's ownership of the place in the framework and their winning of the S.H.I.E.L.D. versus Hydra war. The lighting choice made the whole experience of the framework so much more realistic, even if the lighting was free. The next 4 things I have are all from the same scene in Season 4, Episode 16, called What If? This scene is when Coulson looks through a folder and finds stuff he finds familiar. This is after Simmons comes to visit him and tells him the framework is fake. So the first thing from this scene is a mention of Felix Blake in Coulson's newspaper, one of the agents from the original S.H.I.E.L.D. in Season 1, and also one of the head watchdogs in Season 3. That's nod to the older seasons. The next thing, again, from that same scene, is another newspaper saying, quote, Winslow doctor arrested, end quote. In case you don't remember, Cal Johnson, Daisy's dad, got his memory erased at the end of Season 2 and became a vet. He was then given the alias Dr. Winslow. This piece of information is a thing that stands out because he is Daisy's father, and Daisy was the first thing Coulson remembered from the real world. Daisy's name was the first thing he remembered from the real world. it was hitting the fragment of memory he had, one of the fragments of memory he had from outside the framework. And the third thing from this scene was an ad for the Klaus String Quartet. Coulson had a few notes on this ad saying things like, "Did I go?" and something about a cellist. This is a reference to Coulson's lost love from season 1, his ex-girlfriend who he couldn't be with because she thought he was dead. It's really kind of a sad story when you think about it, but still. Anyway, the last interesting thing from this scene was under Coulson's postcard from Tahiti. It was another newspaper referencing an LA quake. This is a reference to when Daisy was known as the Vigilante Quake at the beginning of the season. Another reference to the biggest fragment of Coulson's memory. Again, memory of Daisy. The final thing that I have in my notes from season 4 is from season 4, episode 19, All the Madam's Men. On the set of Bakshi News, in a few screens, the words "John Garrett, an American hero," are visible. John Garrett is, of course, the Hydra agent that treats Ward as a kind of son in the real world. He also steals Gordon's teleportation's abilities in season 7's alternate timeline, which pretty cool nod to the beginning of the show. Anyway, so alright, so thank you for watching. Leave a like if you like this. Share it if you want to, because if you share it, more people can see this, and then I can be able to make, I don't know, just subscribe, share this if you want to. I guess leave a like, and just comment whatever you want. Honestly, I don't know what to say what to ask you to comment, but just comment, and remember, vote in the description so you can watch, and also you can. Oh, I just remembered something. You can watch another video by clicking the top left, top right, bottom left corner of the screen. Before you do that, I already said subscribe by clicking the bottom right. So yeah, I think that's everything I had. So yeah, okay, goodbye.